So yeah, today I wanted to talk about that lingering energy of the Scorpio full moon, which we had on May 1st, and how that affected me. And also, we have a very good seer here in Austria. She's called Birgit Fischer, and she just said that May is going to be the most tough month of the year energetically. So it's going to throw us around like a cat in a washing machine concerning the energies. It's going to make us feel a lot of feelings, and that can be any part of the pendulum. That can be that we feel extremely angry, that we feel extremely happy, that we feel extremely sad to the point that we cry. It can, throw us around like a washing machine energetically and emotionally. So you have to be prepared that this month is going to be a bit, crazy. Let's say it like that. Cray. But that's fine, that's okay. Loving yourself means that we are okay with every emotion that comes up, right? We do not reject any emotions. But we are also conscious at the same time, while we are not rejecting any emotions, we are also conscious that when we feel emotions, we produce a lot of energy. And beings in the fourth dimension and other dimensions can potentially siphon that energy of us. So we have to be, just sitting at this middle line, knowing that there are the two possibilities. On the one hand, we need to learn to love ourselves with all of the emotions, and on the other hand, we have to be aware that certain beings can possibly use that against us. So the big difference is what this emotion was triggered by. So basically, if somebody is rage baiting you, that is a trigger from the outside, which is made to get loosh out of you, made to get energy out of you by making you feel certain things. And then they have the feeling of control. So don't give them that feeling of control. Don't react to that, because that's exactly what they want to have. So in this case, we do not react. But if emotions come up through other things, let's say you see how they brought this whale that was in Germany, and he was stranded for weeks and weeks and he couldn't get out, and now you saw it being dragged back into the ocean by some animal protection team, and now you maybe cried because you saw that. That is perfectly fine. That is not an emotion that is triggered by somebody who has bad intentions. And that is exactly what we have to learn to differentiate. So that's where all of your discernment comes in. It's very important to discern that. Hey guys, hey Andrea, hi Messina, hi everybody. Where are you watching from? Let me know. So yeah, today we're talking about very heavy energies here. And also for me, I had this too on the Scorpio full moon. I had an online appointment on Zoom with the spiritual seer, and this woman, she triggered me a lot. She triggered me, and I of course looked at that. I thought, why is that triggering me, what she says? Well, once the one point was that she denied that there are neurotypes. She said that typical ableism argument, we are all on the spectrum. We are all on the spectrum. That is not true. There are people who are neurotypical and people who are neurodivergent. So she denied that there was a spectrum. That is ableism. That is something that triggers me because it's just not true. Second thing she said I would use Yeshua as a shield, not to go into relationships anymore. That is also a very satanic thing to say. Oh, now look, the boat is coming by. Look, the boat is coming. Look. The boat is coming. I'm going to continue in a second. I just want to show you that boat. Isn't that nice? Everybody say hi. Hello. Hi. Nobody's waving back at me. Hello, guys. One person is waving back. Very nice. One person. So, the second thing was that she triggered me because she said I would use Yeshua as a shield. That's because I said I am married to Yeshua only, and that is why I won't get married or have children in this lifetime, in this incarnation. And she said you're using Yeshua as a shield, not to communicate with others. That is a deeply satanic thing to say, because she is trying to separate me and Yeshua. Okay, she's trying to put a wedge in between me and Jesus Christ energy. So that is also a very satanic thing to say that triggered me a lot. And the third thing she said was that she said her guides say the time of the lone wolf is over, and that it was time for me to make friends again. And I am definitely not at a point where I would do that. Definitely not. I mean, I have willingly excluded relationships and friendships out of my life for a good reason. Because as a neurodivergent with autism and ADHD, and having 99% of those unawakened people around you, you are basically in a snake pit. You are surrounded by the enemy. You are among villains. And that is absolutely not a place where you go out and make new friends. You know, that's basically, I'm standing at the front line of a war, and she's basically saying to me, I should go to the other party, you know, the ones that are trying to kill us, and go hug them. I mean, sorry, but definitely no. I mean, if I have a job in this world, if I have something holy to do here, if I have a certain kind of vocation here, then I have to stay alive, right? I can't just be the lamb that walks into the mouth of the lion. It's just not going to happen. Yeah. But it was important for me to get triggered by her, so that I become more clear inside myself that what is right and what is true and what is not. Yeah. So these kind of things are thrown at me as a test of my faith, I would say. And yeah, that was my conclusion about what she said to me. Yeah. So the energies are heavy. We have to be ready to feel some intense emotions. And that is also one of the things why you shouldn't be among people, why you should be alone. Because when you're among people, they're going to reframe the whole thing to your detriment. For example, when I say a certain truth, yeah, and I'm a truth teller, okay? As an autistic person, I'm a truth teller. And I say a certain truth, like, for example, that the DNA clan I stem from is a DNA clan that is infested with Satanism, Masonic rituals, stuff like that, then people get very negative towards me. They say things like, you cannot forgive, you still live in the past, you are harboring resentment, you are in a bad place emotionally, and you're not well. So they throw a bunch of evil stuff at you just for saying the truth. And that's how you know you are among villains. That's how you know that is not a time to make friends. That's how you know you are among the wrong crowd. As soon as they throw all of that stuff at you, you know, rather than sitting with you in that truth, okay? A true friend would sit with you in that truth. They would just, feel that truth with you. And most people cannot do that because they're not awake. When they're not awake, then they are not able to carry truth. Because they are so used to living in a lie, they're not able to carry truth, okay? And I understand why. I understand that this is hard, a hard thing to do. To carry the terrible truth of this world, that is a hard thing to do, you know? To witness and see all of that stuff that is negative here. And then also to live with that, to sit with that. Rather than being in denial, rather than, be silent about it, not talk about it. All of this, pushing it under the rug. That is what is normal, considered normal in this very psychopathic society that we're in. But that's not normal. That's deeply sick, okay? The sick people are telling us healthy people how to live. And they're telling us that we're wrong. Just because we are the minority. Just because the sick, psychopathic, narcissistic, sociopathic people are the majority, just because they're 95%, they tell us, the 5% awake ones and healthy ones, that we have a problem, that we are the problem. No, we're not. We're showing you the truth, and you don't want to see it. You want to push it under the rug. You want to, close your eyes to it, yeah? Like you've always done. I mean, history is repeating itself there. We've had this 1,000 times in different cultures, yeah? I mean, some of you might know who the Red Khmer are. Red Khmer. Some of you might know what happened between 1938 and 45. Some of you might have seen, there is countless things like this on Earth, where people are, treated in masses with terror and negative things and war and unalivement and all of that stuff. And people just close their eyes to it. They just pretend it's not happening. It's not there. Yeah. So rather than having your eye on something that is ugly on the outside, we need to look at our own place. What is wrong in our own place? Like, for example, in the news, they will always try to pull your attention towards wars, like, for example, in Ukraine. Okay, so they pull your attention there. When then a family member comes and says something true, which is wrong about the family, then everybody goes like, let's push this under the rug. Let's not talk about it. You're sick. You need to be medicated. You need to go get help because you need a psychiatrist, whatever. They try to push you away, push you under the rug because you say the truth about something that is here and now, something that needs to be looked at here and now. And rather, they would not look at what is here inside their own house, inside their own heart, inside their own mind, inside their own family. They would rather look at, Ukraine or wherever something is going on. Because it's much easier to look at Ukraine and say, oh my God, it's so horrible there. Oh my God, thank God we're not there, rather than looking at the ugly, disgusting, stuff that is in your own basement. Yeah, people avoid that. They don't want to go down their own basement. They don't like to go into the dark and clean up. They don't like to dig into their own psyche. They don't like to dig into their subconscious. They don't like that, and that's why they go like, oh, Ukraine. That's much more important. Let's look at how the war in Ukraine is going. Let's look at how the war in Iran is going. That's what they take as an excuse to not. Make everything clean in their own house, make everything clean in their own family. At the same time, while in Iran there is war, and while there is war in Ukraine, there is a war going on in their own family. And they're not looking. They don't want to look. They don't want to see it. Okay? Even if the truth teller of the family comes up and says, hello, here I am, screaming from the mountaintop, there is something going wrong in this family, then they're going to be like, you need help, go away. We need to medicate you. You need to get lost. We don't want to hear it. Because they want to shove it under the rug. So this pattern of not wanting to look at the own shadow, that is the epidemic. That is the epidemic of this society. That's why they all behave like they are cray-cray, because they don't want to look at the shadow. They avoid their own shadow at all costs because they don't want to do the work that we have done. We have gone there, okay? The truth tellers of the DNA clans, we have gone there. So we have looked at our own shadow in our family lineage. We have looked at our own shadow inside. We have gone years to some kind of psychotherapy. We have tried, we've been on different medications. We've been this, we've been that. Some of us have been through drug abuse, whatever. So we have done all the shadow work. And now that we're out of it and we're seeing the truth very clearly, and now that we have the discernment to see exactly what's going on and to see what needs to be looked at right now, as soon as we speak up, they're coming to get you. As soon as you speak the truth, they attack, and not just one. They attack in the thousands, which is why you need your alone time, especially in months like this, May 2026, where the energies cosmically are so strong, okay? We are in the year of the fire horse. We've got the Taurus season going on and whatever, so it's a lot. Let me think if I said the right thing. Wait a second. Yes, May is we just had Aries, now it's Taurus. So we just had fire with fire, yeah. The fire horse year with the Aries energy in April, and now we have the Taurus energy. The Taurus is about our stability. Taurus is about lower base chakra, the red chakra. It's about stability. It's about finances. It's about the roof over my head, the food I have on my plate. That is Taurus, okay. And Taurus season is now. It's in May. Yeah, so now it's about the in German we say das Eingemachte, es geht ans Eingemachte. It's basically like we have to take care of the basic of our lives. Where is the basis of our lives? Do I have a roof over my head? Do I have the money to buy food? Do I have everything that I need? Are my basic needs met? Okay, that's the big question. Are my basic needs met? And with the basic needs, I don't only mean the roof and the food. I also mean, do you have enough money to go to a doctor when you need one? Let's say you bite onto a very hard piece of food. Yeah, let's say a very hard walnut or whatever, and a piece of your tooth is breaking out. Do you have the money on the side to actually go to a doctor and replace that tooth if it's broken? So these are the questions that are coming up now, and these are questions that most of us live in scarcity, right? So most of us live in this artificial scarcity that they have placed onto Earth, right? We live in this lack, and this lack is of course not natural. Yeah, the lack exists because let's say 1% of the let's say population on Earth is taking 90% of the entire cake, and the rest, the 90% have to fight for the rest. They have to fight for the tiny little crumbs. We have to fight for the rest that's left, and it's not much. So that's artificial scarcity. Yeah, and as we have Taurus season now, and we need to look at our Taurus placements also. Yeah, it's not only about looking at our basic needs, are they met or not, but also where is your Taurus in your chart? Okay. Where is your Taurus in your chart? For example, if you see your own chart, on the outside you see the Taurus symbol. Are there any planets in there? And if there are, which planets are those? What do these planets rule? And also look at in your chart, look up in Taurus what are not only the planets but also the houses there. Look at that and you will find out about yourself, and then you can navigate this season much easier. Hi guys, Sisters of Wien. Lena is here. Hi guys, HV, hello. So yeah, that's what I wanted to say for May. That's very important for us. And also it's always good if you keep staying honest. So just if people shut you up, with these killer arguments, yeah, with these killer arguments like you live in the past, you need help, you need a shrink, you should be medicated, you blah blah blah. So all of this crap that they throw against you, they do that because they are not ready yet to look at their own shadow, okay? And you bring that shadow up, you bring it to their faces, and they don't like that. They don't like that. They don't want to see it. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to think about it. They would best like to run from their shadow their entire lives, and most of them do. Most of them will die not ever having developed, not ever looking inside, not ever finding out about any of this. Makai, hello, how are you doing? I'm keeping my live streams in English now because when I talk in English, the disgusting people are not as much attracted. So when I do it in German, a lot of disgusting people show up in the chat room. So I will keep that in English in the future so that these bastards stay away, because I just have enough of those.